Hello. So, let's see here. It is streaming time. How are you? Okay, so I am Delia Codes, and this is my Node.js first project. I'm currently in a web development bootcamp in Thinkful, and if you haven't caught it already, I would suggest for those who are watching this recording, go watch the intro. It's going to be great, I promise. All right, so let's kind of dive right into it. Last time we did this, we created our first basic kind of project, and we created a few different files and wrote some tests, made some working tests, and that's about it. So we're going to continue. I'm hoping to work my first mock out. So what I'm hoping to do today, let's talk about that. I'm hoping to create my first user action, as in my first, I want to get the form done a little bit better. I want to create a route that will serve the static HTML. I want to create a client interaction in the API.js and mock that client, that interaction. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at with things. Hopefully I'll get all this done. Let's see here. Let me start sharing my screen, and then we can do it. Okay. Welcome. All right. Also, I've reduced my bitrate, so while quality may be less, I'm hoping that it will have less dropped frames, so you can kind of see me better, and it will be hopefully a little less choppy. Okay, so let's go through and kind of tour. This is my first test. It is currently deliberately failing. This is my first, this is my server file, which I didn't actually need to do much of except to serve the static HTML. So what we're going to do is I am going to look at one of my glitch projects that they use to exhibit some code, and I'm going to look at it and try to reproduce that kind of functionality into the app to serve the HTML. So I'm going to do this one right here. Okay, that didn't do what I wanted to do. I want to look at the project. I don't want to, I need to tell it to edit the project. Okay, so let's see here. Let's zoom this project in a little bit. So it looks like what they're doing. So they've got a models.js, which they export shopping list as, the create shopping list. And they essentially do a get function within and as a function of this. So they do shopping list.get and as a key. And then they return the object keys. They use this to map out and return the object keys. So I don't think we have to be this complicated yet. Which is my hope at least, because that object keys thing is a little. I mean, I think I know how to explain it, but it is definitely a little bit more. This is always kind of really intimidating, right? Okay, so let's work on it then. And this is in models.js. I don't necessarily think I need to do this in models quite yet, though it may be good to eventually do that in models. And we do want to create some data for it to return. And again, we need to return we needed to return the HTML page. So I need to figure out how this ties into an HTML page, if it does at all. Which I actually don't think it does, to be quite honest with you. Okay. Well, regardless, I think that'll be what it is. Okay. So let's work on our HTML page real quick before we do this. Well, I think we should edit this to say, well, what we want to do is probably write a test before we do that. Okay. So this is a server, and this is your server stuff. So this is the thing that serves your project. So what we want to do is, with Express, how do we serve an HTML thing? And this is what? So this serves your public pages. So let's start. Let's go and see where we are with our bash. So this is our test suite that we were working on. This was this is our npm start. Let's find out if that's still the case. That doesn't sound like very promising. Okay, I cannot find module. Okay, I found our ESLint error from last time. Okay, so let's go. I don't know how to go from there to get back. This seems to have hung, I think. So let's search out the ESLint error real quick. Okay, so it looks like I need to npm I ESLint. Okay. I don't think I need all of that. And let me quit my thing there. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do npm install blah. Go to my bash 2. And then -d. Okay, maybe that'll do it. Maybe that's a package that I need to install. And then we'll quit VS Code to reboot it, as per the Stack Overflow. Well, that's cool. Skipping optional dependency, which looks fine. Okay, so let's quit VS Code and call VS Code back again. And hopefully that's what we need it to be. Okay. Aha! Okay, great. ESLint has yielded some rewards. Okay. Awesome. All right. So okay, so let's go node start and see if our server runs. Cannot find module. Okay, that's weird. Let's look at our package JSON. Type test node server.js. Okay. Oh, because I typed in node start, npm start. For some reason, I tend to confuse which one I'm supposed to type when. I think I just need to remember that it's always npm. So let's do this. App.listen. So let's wrap this app.listen into something that will tell me in the console that it is running. So let's say here const run server. And then we'll do that, turn it into a function, and then there. Let's wrap this. And then we're going to say console.log server running. And we're going to do that. We're going to save and go, oh my god, what did you need me to do? And you probably want a semicolon. And it doesn't like ESLint hates console log. And let's use the thing, module.exports, and then we're going to say run server. So eventually we'll remove the console log, but we just want to see. Okay, that's what I need to find out. So let's go to localhost 8060. Localhost 8080 8060. Sweet. Okay. So it's serving the thing. It's serving the basic HTML page. So guess what? It's serving the HTML page, I think. HTML page appears on localhost 8060. All right, let's commit this. And okay, so serves HTML page. Okay, great. Hot damn. All right, so let's see here. What's next? Okay, so of my checklist, I have create user interaction, which we sort of have, but sort of really don't. I need to do things with API and mock interactions. Okay, so let's go and open up API, because most of this code is gonna be an API. Strings must use single quotes. This is okay. Well, I guess we'll delete it then, because it's a module apparently. And then if ESLint told me to delete it, it's perfectly fine. Okay, so let's do this, shall we? Okay, so what we're gonna do, let's X our terminal out for now. So let's Control C. I kind of want to test this API function that we're gonna do. But I also kind of want to get this stuff going a little bit more. So let's X that out. We don't need that right now. We don't need server test. We don't need JS hint RC. We are done with that U. We're done with U. We're done with U. We're never done with the README, not until documentation is done. But I'm going to say open to the side, index.html. And we're going to say API. So what we've got a basic form, and that's it. So the name is going to be all right, so the basic form is going to be, so for a form, there is a label. Let's do a label here, even though that may not necessarily be the right element for it. I'm going to say a label, and I'm going to say add a meal here. And then, okay, so that's that. And then what I want to do is I want to create a meals displayed. So let's create where in body and where in main. So I kind of want to create a section tag and do, because this is a section here. This whole add a meal form section is going to be that particular sort of section. It's not going to be that, it's going to be that, it's a different section than like displaying meals. So let's create some sort of div. And actually, I'm not sure if it quite semantically makes sense to put section in terms of main, but I'm just going to do it for now. And then let's make a div. Semantically, what is D? You know, it would be nice if they actually told you what D does, DI, as opposed to like, oh, I don't think it exists. Okay. I'm really fascinated. Then I think it just assumes that it's a thing. ESLint, you are not ESLint. VS Code autocomplete. You are fascinating. Okay, so we've created a div. And so essentially what we're going to say is these are your current meals. So what we want to do is we want to display your current meals in this section. So we're going to say maybe an H3, not to make it too terrible. Well, I don't think it needs to be all that. Your current meals. Okay. And then I guess we need to place something in where this is going to happen. And we could do this using jQuery, but again, I'd rather not use jQuery unless I have to, in terms of iterating over and inserting things into the DOM. Because I think because the last app that they taught us to do, it was jQuery, and that's kind of like my go-to tool right now to do that. That being said, I would much prefer not to use jQuery in this project, since it's kind of elderly, and I'd rather use modern things. Though, I mean, knowing jQuery, super important. Don't get me wrong. Okay. So let's create a div, and we'll do classic div inside of a div. And we'll give this div an ID of, whoa. Okay. All right, div. My go-to ID is results. I'm not sure if that's exactly what we need, but that's, I'm gonna say that that's probably a good idea. But it's actually not results. So, perhaps the ID of this should be current meals, because that's what it is. I mean, you could also do something really long that says display current meals. Naming, it's hard. Okay, ID created. Now we need to figure out what we're doing with this thing. Whew, yawn. I'm sleepy today, apparently. My apologies. Okay, so basic meal planner user interface in index.htm. Okay. Create client interactions and an API.js. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have it display current meals. And then, so what we want to do is have it display current meals, and then we probably want to hard code some data for it to display. And then what we want to do from there is we want to have this API application display that in the div. And then also be able to take in and then display a meal that was added. Okay, that makes a ton of sense. So let's comment this out, shall we? Okay, so we want to create some data. We want to display created data. To the current meals div. We want to accept the data from the form. And then add it to display data. Okay, cool. That's what we need to do. So create some data is easy. Display created data, again, I mean, easy but not like incredibly easy, but it should be fine. So let's go back to our thing. And so this requires body parser, res.json, shopping list. Yeah, this isn't making an actual call. I don't necessarily think it needs to do most of these things right now. And honestly, I don't even think that this does... Yeah. I think that we need one of the other glitch projects. So let me go to my profile. For a good thing. Because I'd like to do this with a jQuery, because jQuery is, again, my go-to. And I know that you could... I know how to do the on-click for the support, or not for the support, for the form, but I'm not sure how to display something without jQuery right now. Demo the basic idea, demo JSON, okay, request response. I mean, the other way to do it would be to like build an actual like get route in the server, which it sounds like I'm not supposed to be doing. And versus, well, not that I'm not supposed to be doing it, it's more just like it doesn't quite make sense to do it yet. And I guess what I'm building with the API is I am building something that will sit in the middle between the server and the HTML static files. So it makes actually a ton of sense. I do need to add the API script to the thing, to the HTML. So let's do this. I think this is going to be way more complex than it ought to be, but we'll find out. Yeah, I think this is actually sort of what I need. Okay. Add, check, and uncheck deleted items. Okay, so let's check tweets, make sure there's nothing terribly interesting going on. I don't think so, but that's an interesting picture. Okay, let's open up our chat and make sure that nobody else has chatted. I completely forgot to do this when I started. If anybody's chatted to me, or, you know, whatever. Sorry. All right, cool. So this is what we got so far. Let's put my script down at the bottom. Okay, script type JavaScript source, and then we're going to say api.js, and then hopefully that's where it ought to be, but I think it's fine. So I don't know if we necessarily need to write tests for the creating some data. We should... I don't actually know if this stuff is necessarily testable in the, you know, like TDD, who's sort of like, let's create a test file. However, I don't think it's a bad idea to create tests. So let's create a new test file real quick. Actually, you know what? I don't like creating a test file like that. Oh yeah, it's underscore tests. Underscore tests slash API-test.js. Okay, there we go. And let's do that. Let's move this to the bottom because we're not doing so much random stuff. Okay, and from here, let's go with const API equals require, and then let's do that and do dot dot. Now, I don't actually know. We'll say public and then API. And what didn't you like about this? API is assigned value but never used. Yes, we're going to use it. Okay, so let's write describe kitten with 4 exclamation points. Incredibly important. And then we're going to say, let me remember how I'm writing this. Welcome to my second test in the world. Okay, so it is a function. That's what I thought. Okay, so great. And then let's do that. So ESLint is happy. Let's save it. And then let's look at my previous test, and it does test, and then it does expect. Okay. So test. And then for this, we're going to say data is expected, is created as expected. And then we're going to create another function, though with a comma. And then we're going to say expect kitten to be to equal gray. And we're going to fill in those values. And actually, let's create this as a string so that it's not going nuts over there. And once we get our stuff, I think I need ESLint does not like this. Describe isn't defined. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to figure that out. Okay. So I'm glad that ESLint is here, even if ESLint is entirely and incredibly annoying. Okay, so let's commit some things. Because we'll say, let's make sure that, let's check our, let's create another terminal. We'll say npm test dash 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 watch. Okay. I'm really confused by its... Oh, it ran all created. Okay, great. So our test failed. And it didn't create an error. So our test, yay! Okay. So from there, let's commit things. So let's see here. For the API, actually we don't need API first. Let's commit the index.html first. And so we'll say added section around form. What else did we do? We inserted, I swear I'm going to look up how many different ways can you see add, and use them all by the time I'm done with my development career. Hopefully not, but maybe. Inserted place to display current meals. And created label. Okay, fine. And labeled. Around form. Okay, we're just going to say that, even though I don't have to document everything, is my guess. Okay. First, failing test. Commented roadmap for file. Okay, and we're done. So let's do this. Okay, let's go back to API and let's create some data. Create meal. Create meals. Okay. And then we're gonna say, let's do this thing. Yes, that probably wants that. Okay, so what are we gonna have create meals do? I think we're gonna return an object, a meal object. And we're gonna make it really simple. Okay, so we're gonna say return, and then cannot read value of null. Okay, I'm fascinated. Okay. So what are we doing? We're returning an object. So I guess we just create an object. I don't think we necessarily need to name it anything. We're going to put that there. And we're going to say name. We're going to say macaroni and cheese. I guess you probably want a quote around the thing. What? Okay. Ingredients. And then we're going to have an array. And then we're going to say macaroni. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say cheese. We're going to say water. We're going to say seasoning, because I can't imagine macaroni and cheese without any seasoning. We're going to say salt. We're going to say oil. And I think that's what we're going to say. Wonder why it doesn't like this. Okay. And then what else do we need to do? We could do ID, but I don't think we necessarily need to do ID right now. So we want to create an object of objects, right? Because we want a meta object that is going to store this thing. I mean, well, let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep one thing in here. Okay. So let's save. And let's go with and let's run it. Okay, and then let's copy this. Expect module dot exports equals create meals, I think is how it goes. Let's open up my previous test to double check. Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. Expect API to equal expected an object but received a function. Okay, so what we just did is we saved it and we ran the test. And you expected an object and you received a function. So what we did is we got create meals. We didn't get create meals we got the function, but we didn't get the the actual return. Ha! Passing. Look at that. Look at that. I'm not sure if I actually need this, so I'm going to say no. Okay. Kitten is passing, which has nothing to do with meals, which is kind of why I like it. Okay, so let's commit this. And we're going to say first passing test. And we're going to do that. Okay, I'm going to take a 5-minute break, but I hope that you have enjoyed my first passing test in this project. Okay, I'm back. All right, so let's get started, shall we? So last time we created our first passing test, which I am so happy about, frankly. I'm like, yes, please. Okay, I don't know why I've got two, but we're gonna say, oh, I need to sneeze. Sneezing has begun. Okay. First passing test, first thing. Okay. So we've created meals. We need to display meals. Insert, we'll say insert into DOM using plain JavaScript. Insert element into DOM using JavaScript. Either that or NodeJS. I don't like W3 schools. Create element, node. Oh, maybe this is a node thing that I can use. Okay, that's really cool. What I want is I want insert after. Inner text. Okay, it's a getter, not a setter. Okay. I wonder if append child contains what we need. Var a child equals element dot append child a child. Okay, I'm really confused. Okay. I don't want to insert just an element though. Turns a JSON string. Okay, I need to figure out how to insert using Node. Okay, this text dot whole replace text sounds really cool, but isn't quite what I need. Okay, event target node, document node event target. Okay. I feel like I'm in some sort of insert. Let's search insert JavaScript insert text in DOM. Create text node. Node.text content. Element.inner HTML. Let's go element.innerHTML. I feel like that there's something wrong here. Okay, so node.textContent, and notice how many tabs I'm opening. I'm like opening like a dozen tabs. Okay, node.innerText, node document.createElement. I don't know. I could be going nuts around this. If I was doing jQuery, I would do like append or some sort of like .html to that. But again, I don't necessarily want to do. Okay, so given the following HTML fragment, this is a span. Get the text content. Oh, okay. Great. So what I could do is I could do document dot get element by ID. Okay, so let's implement this real quick. And let's find out if this actually works. And then, okay, so what we want to do is we want to say document.getElement by ID. And then we're going to say, what did we say that ID was? Current meal. Okay, and then dot text content. Equals, and then let's say create meals. I have no idea if that will work. Because what we kind of want to do, I mean, it'll at least should hook this up together. Okay, so let's see. Strings must use single quotes, which is fine. We can do that. Because actually, instead of let's doing create meals, let's do some content. And let's make sure that it is working, and then we can figure out if create meals is gonna be if create meals will be what it is. Okay, so let's say this is not currently a function. So currently it just kind of acts on its thing. Okay. So from here, I think what we need to do is we need to run our localhost and find out if it's a thing. So these are our tests. So let's run npm start. And then let's load our localhost. Nope. Okay. I don't know if that actually did anything. Maybe I need to have a P. There is nothing in current meals. However, we did not do this. Nor am I seeing anything in there. I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong here. Whoa. Okay, that'll work. No, I want it to be this size. Okay. Document.getElement.id div a. Okay. Text content equals it matches the sample. So I don't actually know. Current meals. Okay, so let's try this. Let's bring this back to this. Document, and we have a dot text content equals, and then let's do this. Either that or we can wrap it in some function and run that function. That may be the other way to do it. The only other thing I can think of is that the script sourcing is not correct. So let's do that too. Add a script. Let's make sure I did that right. I know basic stuff, but again, that's why you're here to learn. Yes, I know how to do that. How do you link a script file? Path. Okay. It does, according to this, it doesn't actually need the JavaScript. So let's delete that for now. And let's do localhost. Ha! Okay. That was the problem. There was something weird about the JavaScript thing. Okay, so if we did some content, okay, so let's find out what happens when we run create meals here. Okay. Object, perfect. Okay. Great. So let's see here. All right. So let's do string literal, template literal. And then we're gonna say $that create meals dot name, and we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna say we're gonna end the object literal. Okay, let's try it. Ha! Ha ha ha! Macaroni and cheese. And we're going to say name. And then we're going to say ingredients. And then we're going to say template literal, create meals. And we're going to say dot ingredients, close the template literal, and let's save it, and let's do this. There we go. Now the one thing we should probably do is add a space. Okay. Great. Awesome. We did it. Okay. All right, let's commit this, and then I have to get to my mentor meeting. So, we're going to say created basic meal displayed to user and corrected script issue. And thank you so much for joining me. This has been really great today. I feel like we've made some progress, even though it's always so slow. Oh my lord. Okay, let's check the chat one more time and the tweet, or the Twitters, or however you want to call it. Let's see here, Twitter. All right, it doesn't look like any interesting notifications. So I'm great. I'm glad. All right, let me switch over to video and sign off. Have a great day, everybody. And I'll be next streaming on Friday. And I'll announce the time, which I think I already have, but I'll announce it.